Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin and Ethereum morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we shall go straight over to those charts. So yeah, Bitcoin on the 4 hour, as you can see, we had a little foray above our resistance level here. Attempted to get up to the next resistance level, but we just fell short of that, and then we subsequently came back down, lost the resistance level we managed to break over, and well, didn't come too far away from the very important lower support level. So this was actually sub 31k. So yeah, I mean, it does just look like we are back consolidating in this lower range, which is definitely not ideal. Obviously you can see the bit of the swing failure above here. Once we obviously broke above, came back down, and then took out the low of that candle, we then accelerated to the downside. So at present on this 4 hour, we clearly have a lower high that wasn't even able to actually reach even the trend line. So the downward sloping trend line. So that clearly is not the most bullish of scenarios. So yeah, I mean, whilst ever we are so close to this level, we do have to be cognizant of the fact Bitcoin could end up in serious trouble. We have got this larger descending triangle that we do know has a pretty beefy target. So yeah, we have got basically a new level to look out for now, though. We've got obviously taken out this level, but I mean, it is very close to this level of overhead resistance, and well, if we do get up there in a reasonable fashion and not just one big green candle now, it will probably coincide with a downward sloping trend line also. So getting above this high, this lower high, and then this resistance, which should coincide in the same around the same level, and also the downward sloping trend line, that could be basically the trigger that accelerates us to a massive pump up if we do get above them. But clearly we have got to be aware of this downside risk. So yeah, Bitcoin is looking a bit dicey, but there has been lots of times in Bitcoin's price, in Bitcoin's bull runs, when the market does look pretty like it's going to come down, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere we just pump up another 200% to the next level and consolidate, looking like we're going to come down, then pump up again. So I mean, that is what I expect will happen. I don't think the bull run is over. I think we are just the chart is gonna look a bit bearish. Get some people out of their crypto, and then we are just gonna absolutely massive green candle to 60k. That would be my guess. But obviously, I mean, it is a simple case, relatively simple case, so we just got to watch what happens with this level, and watch what happens with this downward sloping trend line, this high here, and this horizontal resistance here. So yeah, that is what we are doing, and obviously you can see on this time frame we are basically entering a period of lower and lower vol, and lower vol leads to high vol, leads to low vol. So we are obviously potentially expecting a high volatility move, and obviously that doesn't indicate direction. It could be to the upwards or upside, it could be to the downside. We just got to wait for confirmations and then see what happens. Ethereum, Bitcoin, obviously my most important chart. You can see having a bit of sideways to down. Ran into obviously we had a bit of a spike on this 7 candle, ran into the 9, and then subsequently sold off from the 9. But we are getting supported at this important horizontal. So if you cool off this 409, get supported here, start to make a move back up to the upside, we could be looking pretty good. We'll actually draw, I know that's the top of the wick there, but this obviously looks pretty an important level, so getting back above here, yeah, potentially we can see a resumption in this to the upside. Obviously falling below here, we could just find ourselves stuck in this range down here. So yeah, obviously that can happen. Ethereum USD, what is that looking like? Yep, looking good. Looking good. I don't know, I mean, we probably should be at least considering this ascending wedge that is forming. We'll try and draw it in. Maybe let me just have a quick look at the 12-hour. Is it easier to draw in on the 12-hour? Yeah, potentially easier to draw in on the 12-hour. Although actually then it just looks like less than a wedge. It looks like obviously you can see these wicks come out here. In fact, it does look more like a channel on this. So as you can see, it does look a bit more of a channel. So yeah, we'll probably leave that at the moment and just call it consolidation at the high rather than try and paint a pattern on it. But I just would be slightly aware of it is potentially looking a little bit like an ascending wedge, and they can break to the downside statistically more often. But then we are in an uptrend, so there's those there's obviously those forces that will act against each other in deciding which way in what is the most likelihood direction we break in. Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, having a bit of a pullback to our horizontal level here, wicked above, back below, and yeah, looking to get resisted here. So will it get resisted, turn back down and come back down to this level? This is obviously a very important level. Or do we come back and back test this trend line? We shall see, but obviously looking bearish. It has got plenty of room to bounce and then still remain bearish, and then come back down. So yeah, this is obviously a long way from going bullish in the same respect that this was a long way from coming bearish when we're getting these little pullbacks, and we've not even realistically got much of a pullback here yet anyway. So yeah, DXY. DXY is in its range, had a little bit of a bounce again off this horizontal, still within this horizontal range basically. So again, is it got head and shoulders forming? This pump up in here is probably to do with this insane wick that we had down here. Go to the 4-hour. So yeah, we did get a bit of a hit on the stock markets, and then what do you know? Immediately brought back up, just like stocks do, back above our horizontal again. Came like literally right back from where we started. This candle high all the way down. This is a big move for the S&P. This candle range is well, yeah, over 1.5%, and I can assure you that is a lot. I know you guys in crypto are like 1.5%, but yeah, that is a lot. And then immediately bought, literally we traded basically the same level again. Absolutely insane, and then came back and back tested the actual horizontal level in a more orderly fashion, and then now we're back basically roughly where we've been. So yeah, obviously that weakness in the stock market did give us a bit of an impetus in the give a bit of an upside in the DXY. But yeah, I would expect that to be faded, and I pretty much would, on the basis I'm bearish of this, I pretty much would expect this head and shoulders to form and play out to the downside, which would basically get us roughly within this level here, potentially trade sideways and then lower. That would be my guess. Lots of guesses this morning. So yeah, how is Tesla doing? Just check in. Just have a little check-in on Tesla. Look at it. It's crazy, isn't it? There's lots of short squeezes going on in the markets at the moment. Lots of short squeezes. Lots of people getting short based on the economic reality, and lots of Robin hoodies just basically buying their call options and absolutely squeezing the professionals. It's just crazy to see. It's crazy to see. Anyway, that's enough of stock markets. We don't look at those too much at the moment. Just a quick look at silver, because we do like silver. Yeah, silver sort. I mean, I would expect this basically is macro bullish, and it is going to break up eventually. So it's just a case of when. Yeah, that is it. So just anyone that's interested in some non-financial advice, potentially just accumulate scrap silver if you can get it cheap, or any silver if you get it cheap. Always, that's the main thing. Just get it cheap. Get it cheap. In lots of not obviously not in trading, it's not the same. In lots of like buying and selling industries, lots of people will say you make the money on basically buying whatever it is cheap, and then you just sell it at market price, rather than trying to buy at market price and then sell above market price. You make your money on buying at a good price and then just sell at market price. Obviously obviously you can wait for that market price to go higher, but then again you still sell at market price, you don't sell above market price. Obviously silver you can get premiums, but that premium basically is the market price. Market is willing to pay for physical over paper. So yeah, so back to Bitcoin. And let's finally have a look at those stochastics. Are they going to help us hold in here, or are they going to make us look like we're going to shatter down below this 30k level and start to make our way to 20k potentially? Let's have a look what they are telling us. 4 hour coming down. So yeah, 4 hour is a drag. Is going to be a drag. 10 hour. There's some of the more important ones. 10 hour still pointing up and coming up, so that is good. 12 hour had a bit of a king, but he's still pointing upwards. Got this trend line that we're looking to try and break. If we break this trend line in the 12 hour continues up, 10 hour continues up, and daily does then turn back up on that basis. If we do that, we'll be looking to turn this back up. Then I think we will be out of the woods. We will have the momentum to take us basically through this 36k and onwards to the top of the range. That is what I think will happen if we do that. If we do start to get that move to the upside. If we look at what is happening in the immediate term, it is looking like we are trying to basically get back up here. So yeah, I mean, if we get back into the 33Ks, we are going to be looking to drag those 10, 12 and daily to the upside, and then once we've got that going, if we get that going, that is going to give us the momentum to break through here, and we will continue to the upside. Obviously, if we get rejected here, come back down, and then we won't be looking very good, but we may still have enough juice in the tank to hold us above 30k and maybe then give it another go, or we may just at that point capitulate. But just bear in mind we are closer to the a lot closer to the breakdown levels than we are to the breakup levels, so that is obviously an inherent increased downside risk. So yeah, that is it, guys. Remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall probably speak to you guys later on today with an update on some altcoins and potentially WISE as well. So I'll speak to you guys then.